Greetings and welcome to Pickled Watermelon Rinds, a guilty pleasure podcast featuring Antie Joan and Ontie, providing our zesty and marginally mature take on current events, pop culture, and trends. Now we invite you to sit back, relax, and enjoy. Hello, Antie Joan.
Hi, Auntie.
How are you today?
I'm doing all right. How about you?
Oh, just fine, thanks.
You're welcome.
So I've had some really cool animals come by recently.
You have?
I have.
What you got? Raptors?
No, I do hear hawks every now and again squawking as they fly on by. But no, I've had some moose, a big bull moose, probably the biggest bull moose that's been to the house thus far.
Okay, I've seen videos that you've posted.
Mm-hmm.
It is magnificent.
And honestly, I can tell you this, that the pictures and the videos do not even come close to capturing the enormity of the bull moose. Because I was taking video and then I would look at him and I could just see the size difference from what was being filmed on my camera on my phone and him in real life. And I'm like, there's no way to capture this. It's just incredible. And then there was a cow and her youngster with her as well. So it was a family roaming on through.
Yeah, but you can see cows anywhere.
Moose cows, silly.
Oh, moose cows.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And he was making all sorts of noises. That's how I knew he was out there, because I kept hearing, and I was like, is that my neighbor like doing something outside, like hammering, and it's just coming through really weird through the windows? And finally I stood up and there he was, and I'm like, OMG.
Yeah.
So I was able to capture him actually making that noise on the video. Sadly, folks, it was taken as a live stream because I got too excited and I didn't know what I was doing. I took it as a live stream on the Facebook using my dog's Facebook account. So unfortunately, I do not have that video to share, but I did take pictures as well. And I will likely put together a little picture montage of these animals that came through. But the moose was just one, which was very cool. Make no mistake about it. Then I had some turkeys. I know we've talked about the turkeys before, but there are 15 of them and they're just so silly. They're just so silly. So I took lots of pictures. They walked around the entire perimeter of the house. It was very funny. And again, I heard a noise while I was inside and I was like, what the hell is that? And I looked outside and there they were. I was like, oh, you guys are just too damn funny. They're very cute. But the piece de resistance is an animal that has not been to the house until recently. And now there's been 4, technically, if you count them on my cameras at night once. So 4 sightings over the past week. And they've never been to the house in the 4 years I've lived here before this past week. And it's been amazing. And that is elk. OMG, love me some elk. They hang out at this ranch behind our houses. And I hear them all the time. And if you drive down the main highway in our town, you can see them sometimes in the pastures and stuff like that. But they've never breached the gap over to there's nothing stopping. There's no fence or anything. There's nothing stopping them. I don't know why it's taken them 4 years to figure out that they could come over our way, but they did finally. And the first time I had like 20 of them in my yard.
Oh my gosh.
The next morning, I had 30 plus of them in my yard.
Holy smokes.
And then this morning, I had 6 of them. Not technically in my yard, but close enough. So I feel like I thought they were going to come daily for a while, but they don't. But they have come back. So I'm excited to see if we start seeing them more often. That's a cool one. That's a cool one.
You know when elk season starts?
Yeah, I think it's now. It's fall typically, isn't it? Isn't that what hunting season is? Yeah. The first time I saw them, there was a huge buck off in the distance. And I got super excited, went outside, tried to get a picture of him. And he was very elusive and went right into the woods. And even if I tried to take the picture from the kitchen window, when I did see him, it would not have, he was so far away. I thought he was going to come closer to the house, but he didn't. And there was another one this morning, not the same one, much smaller antler. So I think it's a young buck, but he was also elusive in me taking a picture. I thought I got him, but he was moving, and my camera, for some reason, normally takes like, it was a setting that either I did by accident or they just started doing. I don't know, but it would like take like almost frames, so that you would get like,
Oh,
even if something was moving, it was still taken in frames, and it
yeah,
would give you a
yeah,
final still picture of what you were taking.
yeah.
And it didn't do it this time. So it's very blurry. So I'm not even going to bother. You can't even see that he had antlers. So it wasn't really worth it.
Hmm.
But yeah, so cool.
Oh
I'm
my
excited.
gosh. That's like, dying and going to heaven.
It really is. It's so much fun to see the wildlife here, and they're very active. Fall is typically the most active at my house. But what wasn't very active this year, as a matter of fact, I didn't not capture any on my cameras, not really complaining either, is bear. Normally I get a few sightings throughout the
Hmm.
summer of bear around the property at night, middle of the night, whatever. None this year, zero. My neighbor had one because he forgot about a Chewy box of dog food on his front porch. And the bear decided, hey, it tastes really good? A Chewy box of dog food on a front porch. He scared him away, and he thought for sure he was going to come back because he never got to the dog food. He was just messing around with the box, trying to get into it at the time that my neighbor saw him. But he was very concerned that the bear would come back. That's why he let me know that we had a bear, and sorry, they, almost got into the Chewy box of dog food and blah, blah, but never came back. So
Hmm.
I don't know why we didn't make the migration area for the bear this year. Again, not super complaining. It's kind of cool to see them on my cameras in the middle of the night, but
Yeah, I feel bad for the bears.
why?
Oh, because they're, like they end up coming down here
Mm-hmm.
and then they get caught, they get captured.
Mm-hmm.
And then I don't know if there's like a once and you're done. Like if they send you back and you come and they come back down, then they'll
I know they tag them,
euthanize them. Yeah.
relocate them, but I don't know how many
Yeah.
offenses they're allowed before they
Yeah.
take action permanently. There was a bear that was a young bear that was terrorizing, in quotes, Netherland, mostly in downtown. I don't think it was up where I lived, but still close enough that it was really just not afraid and was going on people's porches, got into
Yeah.
somebody's house, all that. And the different views being fought out on Facebook about, stop posting these things, you're going to get that poor little young bear
Mm-hmm.
destroyed. And the other one's like, hey, this bear could do some serious damage. Something needs to be done. Clearly, and
Yeah.
then if people are blaming it on people, and then those people are defending themselves, saying, I don't have any food outside, I don't have anything attracting them, they're just coming here. Who knows what's going on? But I agree. I think, unfortunately, the bears are living amongst people a little too much, and they're becoming less afraid and more brave in their
Yeah. Yeah.
actions. And sometimes their adults, mothers and fathers, have been killed or moved on or
Mm-hmm.
whatever, and haven't
Mm-hmm.
really taught
Mm-hmm.
them to be afraid of humans.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what I will say about the elk. I'm impressed by the elk because they are the most skittish wildlife I've had at the house to date. I just opened the slider and they scattered. They're
Huh.
like, nope, gotta go. So now I only take pictures through the kitchen window or a window. I try not to open anything because as soon as I do, they leave. So they've got the right attitude. I
Yeah.
hope they
Yeah.
don't become, because now that they are coming closer to houses and people and meet people like me who want to take their picture and are not trying not to scare them away, I hope they don't become more accustomed to people and ultimately end up in a similar fate as the bear.
When you say that you've heard the elk for a few years now, is that the
Oh,
bugling that you
the
hear?
bugling.
Yeah.
Last
Yeah.
night was unbelievable. It was like an orchestra.
Oh my
I don't even
gosh.
know what to say. They were, I don't know if it was mating calls. I don't know what it was, but there were lots of them and they were all doing it. And it was hysterical. And some are really loud. And then you get some grunting in between. And then you get them, bugling again. And oh my God, it was quite the little symphony last night. Yes.
And people drive all the way up to Estes Park, I guess around this time of year, to hear the
Hmm.
bugling. And you got it right in your own backyard.
Right in my own backyard. I didn't close the windows as early as I have been, because it had actually got nice again. I was closing them earlier because it was getting cold. I was trying to preserve the fact that I'm cheap and I don't want to turn the heat on yet.
You're not
So
cheap, you're frugal.
that's sure. Yesterday was really nice, so I left the windows open long, about 8 o'clock. It was just unbelievable, the sounds they were making. I was like, wow, okay,
And
this
then
is kind of
does
cool.
Killian try to join along?
Killian's asleep.
Oh. Oh.
Killian's asleep. But what he did sing along to yesterday was I was listening to the Handsome podcast, which I told you I listen to every week, and their jingle. I listen to this every week. Killian is usually laying right next to me. He's never given it a second thought. And for some reason, at the very end of their jingle, he decided to chime on in. Well, I'm going to see if he does it next week. I'm going to videotape him from my phone.
Yeah,
And
do.
see if he'll do it again. And if he does, I'll send it to the girls and be like, hey,
Yeah.
here you go.
Yeah.
This happened.
And Tig, next time you're in Denver, let's meet
Yeah.
for lunch at
At
what's the name of that place?
Snooze.
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 Yes. You know, I've kind of fallen in love with some of these husky videos that are out there singing. They just, oh my gosh, that one there's one house that has 3 of them.
Mm-hmm.
Each one's trying to outdo the other. Oh my
They're
gosh.
so ridiculous. Auntie Beth just sent a video of 2 wolves and a husky. And the wolves,
I saw that one.
Yeah. And she's like, I think Mr. K sounds more like a wolf than a husky. His howl is a little bit deeper than a husky, which is a bit more high pitched.
Yeah, that's true.
So she says he sounds more like a wolf. She's always called him a white wolf since the first time she met him. So, yes.
Yeah, that video is pretty incredible.
It is.
The 2, yeah.
Yeah, the husky finally chimes in, but the wolves were going, come on now, we can't keep this up forever. Like, let's go. Very cute.
Yeah. Good times, good times.
Good times, good times. And I know Aurora, Colorado gets, shit on quite a bit and by me a lot because it's just not the greatest city in the world.
Oh, you mean because of all them gangs coming in?
No. Just because the mass murder that happened there and
Oh,
you remember.
Yeah.
Little things like that.
Mhm.
But I have my doctor's appointments and all test results are A-okay. I ended up going to Stanley Marketplace with a friend of mine that I used to work with. And we went to Boychik. This is the second time we've been there. And Boychik is actually have a location in Boulder at the Avanti. So Antie Joan, at some point I may have to take you over there to check out Boychik. It's a Mediterranean restaurant. But they've really, really good food. Yeah, I assume the menu's the same at the Boulder location. Yeah, we'll have to check that out sometime.
How do you spell that?
Boychik. I'll have the link in the episode for everybody. But very good. I think I had what the hell did I have? I don't even remember.
Hummus?
I think it was a hummus bowl. But it had spicy cauliflower in it. Spicy cauliflower, some hummus, a couple pieces of pita with like some arugula kind of interdispersed.
Oh.
Very, very tasty. But before I met her, I walked into the marketplace because after an MRI and CAT scan with contrast, they really want you to drink water. And I was out. And so I was like, I just want to grab some water. So I walked into Rosenberg's Bagels.
Oh my gosh.
And with the intent of just buying water, but the aromas of the bagels got the best of me. And I bought 4 bagels that I brought home with me.
Now, are they crusty like Moe's or are they soft?
Very, very good. They are very comparable to Moe's, and I would say even tipping closer to NYC. So it was quite good. Now, I didn't have them fresh from there because I was going to lunch. I brought them home. So by the time I got home, of course, they weren't. I had to toast them up and all that stuff. But
of course.
And it was the next day, too. So they were already a day old. But still quite tasty. So folks, if you're in the area of Aurora, Colorado, go to Stanley Marketplace. Check out Rosenberg's Bagels. Delicioso. They have sandwiches, just like Moe's. You can make it into sandwiches or whatever. It's I think they even say they're a delicatessen as well. Jewish delicatessen. And then Boychik. Boychik is quite delicious. The Mediterranean restaurant. So there you have it.
Yeah, because there's a food truck that's in Boulder that claims to be authentic New York bagels, but they're soft.
Yeah, they're not.
That's what. I still want to go and try one of their corned beef sandwiches on rye.
There you go.
Yeah.
Maybe they do that right because they certainly don't do bagels right. No offense. Bagels shouldn't be soft. Or don't call yourself a New York style bagel and serve soft bagels because that is not correct.
Well, on next door, people said, yeah, they're really New York bagels.
People are wrong.
Well, that's what I thought, but who was I to tell them?
You live there, you know.
Yeah, but times
Jiminy
change.
crickets. I brought you back
Yeah.
bagels once from the NYC.
You did.
So what's up in your world, Auntie Joan?
Wow. It's interesting. Nobody ever told me this, but there is a new season version of Dance Moms.
Oh.
Oh, I missed it so much.
Okay.
That's my guilty pleasure. Um,
That and 90 Day Fiance.
well, I don't watch that much anymore. I'm even tired of the pillow talks because they got the same weird people on. I don't know. I'm tired of them all. So there you
Uh-huh.
go.
Uh-huh.
They're getting too many strange people on that show. Not that I watch it, but anyway.
Uh-huh.
But this Dance Moms a new era, and it doesn't have Abby Lee Miller on anymore. It's a new lady, Glow, Miss Glow
Mm.
is her name, and she's probably in her 50ish, and people have said that she's like Abby, but I'd say no. She's a lot more tuned in to helping the girls achieve their potential without a lot of horrible criticism.
Mm.
Abby Lee was really bad about tearing the girls down. Now, one thing that I do have, we talk about young people today being pampered and the helicopter moms. Well, dance moms are helicopter moms. However, they are tough on their girls.
Mm-hmm.
They start crying and they say, nope, nope, no time for tears. Come on, suck it up. Let's get out there and let's go, go. However, there is one of these little girls that is, boy, she's such a manipulator. The slightest thing happens and she starts this fake crying.
Mm.
All throughout. Now, there was like 8 episodes. And each time it got worse and worse and worse. And she just, the drop of the hat, and she'd start crying. And mom would come over and the other girls would come over and hug her and all this stuff. And I'm thought, you're a little manipulative bitch. I hate to say that word about a young girl, but so she was told she needs to toughen up by
Mm-hmm.
Miss Glow, and not her mother though, but by Miss Glow. And there were, I think, 2 episodes where she really tried to keep it in and try to rise to the occasions. Yeah. And then another thing that really bugged me about this was there was one girl that didn't make it to the final 7 team. It's like an elite team that they pick, and then they go to all these competitions throughout the season. And one girl didn't make it. However, Miss Glow thought that the girls were kind of slacking, so she brought this girl in and told them, well, there's 8 girls now, and there's only room for 7 on the team performance.
Mm-hmm.
So if one of you doesn't work to your ability, then we'll put Gina in. So that got all the girls upset. That got all the moms upset. And they're all complaining and bitching about this poor girl. I'm talking like 10 years old in front of her, in front of all the girls. I mean, it just blows my mind how terrible they can be to this child.
Mm.
And I know a lot of this is all done in the editing booth,
Mm-hmm.
to make them look this way and all that stuff. But oh, it's pretty tough. The girls are excellent dancers. It always never ceases to amaze me how they're like 8 to 12 years old, how these little girls can not just remember. They do a new dance every week, a new routine every week for these competitions.
Mm-hmm.
So not only are they learning the routines, they got to keep stretched, and they're all very talented. I must say. They're all very talented.
Martin Short.
Yes, I must say. So if you've been a Dance Moms fan and you've been missing them, check out Dance Moms, the new era. It might satisfy your cravings. There is another one that was done several years ago that takes place in Miami, and it's not as good. It's not as good.
Gotcha.
That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
And so our listener isn't confused. We have not started our what we're
No,
watching segment. This
no.
was just an aside
Yes, my
conversation.
excitement for the week.
Okay. And now we're going to talk about Auntie Joan's fun facts.
Oh, Auntie Joan's fun facts. Yay! Out where I live, we have power poles lining the roads. Occasionally, you'll see a hawk. I've seen bald eagles on these poles, and you see various and sundry other birds. Have you ever wondered what causes the deaths of these poor birds that you see on the power poles? I know you have.
Nope. Never thought
Well,
about it.
well, somewhere, I don't know, I came across this
Uh-huh.
and I thought, wow, that blows my mind. Avians found dead along power lines are often assumed to have died from electrocution. They figure, they get on the power line and get shocked. However, there's a wildlife biology at Boise State University in Idaho who questioned the cause of the deaths of these birds. So she and her colleagues walked along 122 miles of power lines in Idaho, Oregon, Utah, and Wyoming. And they collected 410 bird carcasses. Now, these are raptors, eagles, hawks. Oh, what's the others? Anyway, so then what they took the bodies back to the labs and they found out that most of them were coming back with bullet fragments in them or shotgun pellets.
Wow.
Of the 175 birds for which they determined a cause of death, 66% had been shot.
Wowzers.
Yeah. I don't know why.
Target practice.
Well, you kind of wonder. If it was close to a chicken farm or something, you might think, well, yeah, they're trying to protect their product, their chickens. But I mean, come on. 121 miles? 122 miles out. No.
Hmm.
So yeah, I think a lot of people are using them for target practice, which is really sad because yeah, it's hawks, eagles, and falcons is the other species that they tested. So when you see those birds up on the power lines, say a little prayer for them.
Ew. I couldn't even control that.
And hope their passing is peaceful. Let's put it that way. A lot of them do get shot, a lot of them do get electrocuted, and a lot of them are impacts, like they get hit by cars or
Mhm.
other birds. I'm sure the windmill things, yeah,
Mhm.
probably takes them out too, but
Mhm.
majority are shot.
Our listener knows that I am not a bird fan. However, I do like birds of prey, which the list that Auntie Joan rattled off are included. So it does make me a little sad because I do like eagles and falcons and hawks because they kill other birds so they can stay.
Yeah, I see. Often I'll see bald eagles over on the road
Mm-hmm.
by me, and I think there's a
Do you shoot
mating
them?
pair. I don't know. No, I think they're a mating pair because you usually see two of them at the same time. But there's a lot of prairie dogs and stuff down there.
Lots of prairie
Hard.
dogs. Those
Yeah.
little fat things. I love those things. Oh my God. They chirp and they run into the road and then they get just like a squirrel. I don't know which way to go. And they are just ridiculous, ridiculous creatures.
Yeah,
Angie Joan has a lot of them near her house. They're very funny.
I do.
They're very funny. But yeah, good hunting for the raptors for sure.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
the coyotes.
Kind of
and,
easy pickings though, honestly. It's kind of pretty lazy of the raptors to be going after the prairie dogs. They don't run very fast. But they do pop their heads out of the holes. So I guess it could be like whack-a-mole. I don't know. A little game for them. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, that was an interesting fun fact.
I thought it was.
It was. Thank you for
I mean,
sharing.
the last thing I would have expected
Mm-hmm.
would be that people would actually shoot at those birds.
Yes, indeed. Well, thank you
guess
for
that-
sharing your fun
yeah.
fact, Auntie Joan, with our listener.
And I guess it wasn't so much fun, but it was interesting.
Certainly a fact.
Welcome back.
Welcome back. Now we're on to the part of our program where we discuss what we are watching. And Auntie Joan treated me to a movie.
I treated her groovy and took her to a movie.
It's so true. It was super fun. I love going into an action movie theater. And this is a follow up to a previous episode where we reviewed the original of this particular movie. But now we went and saw the latest and greatest. And Auntie Joan, what was that?
Beetlejuice.
Don't say it anymore.
Okay, I won't.
Okay, because he shows up.
I know he does, and he's got like nasty teeth now, and
He does.
yeah, he does.
He does.
Yeah, he looks like a Brit.
Auntie Joan. Thankfully, we don't have any listeners from England.
Yeah, that's why I said it.
Yeah, that's why you said it. So, yes, this is the second in the movie duology. I just made that word up. I have no idea. It even has a thing. I guess it's just a sequel, maybe. That's what it'd be called, right?
Yeah.
Second in the series. Seems like it may be the last based on the very ending of the movie, which we won't spoil. But
I think so. Yeah.
it seems like this is going to be the last one.
Yeah.
It was great to see everybody again. A couple of characters didn't come back as we had already given you the heads up on during our review of the original Beetlejuice from the 1980s. It was still well done. The thing that bugged me the most throughout the movie was Winona Ryder's voice.
Huh.
If everybody has seen Edward Scissorhands, and at the very end, when she is retelling the story of Edward Scissorhands, she is a very old woman, very, very, very old, and she sounds very, very, very old. She purposely did that to her voice. She just kind of sounds like that now. At least in this movie. I don't know if she just brought that forward for some reason or felt like she needed to sound like a really old woman. Because she doesn't play a really old woman. She plays her age. But I don't know. Her voice was really, that's all I kept thinking. I'm like, God, she sounds just like she did at the end of Edward Scissorhands. That bugged me.
You remember all that back from Edward Scissorhands, huh?
Yes.
Well,
I love these movies.
Well, yeah, I saw it too, but I don't remember her voice from that. So,
But I've probably seen it again more recently than you have.
Oh.
Yes. I rewatch every now and again. Something will just strike my fancy and I'll go. So I want to say I probably have seen Edward Scissorhands in the past year.
So while I'm watching Dance Moms, you're watching reruns of Edward Scissorhands.
Of movies that strike my fancy, yes.
Different strokes for different folks.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I did have a hope that Johnny Depp would make cameo appearance just because it's a Tim Burton movie, but sadly no. Which makes sense. He didn't do a cameo in the original. I get it. And it's really not about him, but he's just done so many Tim Burton movies. I was kind of holding out hope that maybe he'd just blip in or be a character or something. But nope.
Yeah.
No Johnny Depp.
Oh, well. But we did have Danny DeVito, didn't we?
We did have Danny DeVito make a cameo, and that was special. He's his usual ridiculous self in a different character, of course, but he just brings something to the movies. It's just quintessential Danny DeVito.
Now, can I make a confession?
Sure.
These are times that I wish I could have rewatched it through a streaming service without it costing me money, because when I started thinking about, what are we going to talk about? I couldn't go back and refresh my memory about what happened. So I went and I watched a couple trailers, official trailers for it. And I think, well, no wonder I had trouble keeping everything in my mind. There was so much going on in the movie that I gave myself some leeway. Yeah.
There were. And I have to say, when it first started, I was not enamored with it. I thought that there was just too, like Antie Joan just mentioned, too many things going on and it wasn't all coalescing. And I was getting very concerned that this was just going to be a very choppy, thrown together sequel just to make some money. But it redeemed itself as the movie progressed. Things started to actually intertwine a little bit better, and it made for a good movie. I honestly don't know which one I liked the best, the original or this one. I kind of think they were both pretty comparable, in my opinion. it was enjoyable for sure.
I liked it too. And like you said, it all kind of came together. I don't mind watching movies that have a bunch of things going on. It's just when I go in, I need to know this is not going to be a linear type start, middle,
Hmm.
finish thing. It's,
Hmm.
you know what I'm saying? So,
The good thing about seeing Beetlejuice together was I got to point out to Auntie Joan the sand area that I had referenced in our other
yes,
episode that Auntie
yes.
Joan said she had no idea what I was talking
Well, now, in my defense, I did rewatch that Beetlejuice, and the clips of the sandy area was very brief. So it's understandable that would have.
but she knows what we're talking about now, so that's good. I said, "This is what I'm talking about," and it makes an appearance twice in this movie as well. So I did have some repeat themes from the original, but not to the point we were like, "Ugh, they're just redoing the original." Definitely didn't get that impression of the movie. So
Yeah,
that
yeah.
was good. And Michael Keaton, of course. I mean, there's no one better, man.
He is, yeah, he's really good for that.
There's
Hmm,
just no one
hmm.
better. I could not imagine any other actor doing that role at all.
And didn't I say that Sammy Davis Jr. They
Yes, you had mentioned that. I don't
what
tell
the
the listeners.
hell
I
were
don't know if
they
you just told
thinking?
me or you said it on the first episode.
I think I said it, yeah,
Okay,
when
you
we
did.
reviewed the first Beetlejuice. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, could you imagine? That would have just been
No.
so different. Maybe
Yeah.
it would have been
Yeah.
great. Maybe we would have loved it. That would have just been very different than what Michael Keaton did with it. And I did listen
Mhm.
to, I don't know if it was a podcast or an interview, I forget, because he's been doing the circuit since the movie's been
Mhm.
coming out. He basically just came up with the character during the table read. And he just didn't know how he wanted to play, knew it was going to be interesting and all that. And he just came up with the voice and all that. And it just took off and everybody just loved it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So he's the master. Turns out some of the insights that you had been doing research on in the original with the thought that possibly Winona Ryder was dead at
Mhm.
the
Mhm.
end of the
Mhm.
first
Mhm.
one was not the case.
Right. Right.
Jenna Ortega, or Astrid, I guess is her name in the movie, is Winona
Which
Ryder's character. God, I couldn't say her name the last time we talked about her either.
which you had suspected.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
she was her daughter, or is her daughter in the movie.
Mhm.
The father thing, I didn't really like that storyline much at all.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why they played it the way they played it. Winona Ryder's ex-husband, I think they were already divorced when, anyway, Astrid, Jenna Ortega's character, and her father
Mhm.
are estranged, but
Mhm.
and I don't
Mhm.
want to say why because I don't want to give away the movie, but it was just an interesting storyline. And honestly, I don't think it really played that much into the overall story. So I don't know why they did that personally. And once people start seeing more of it, if you want to leave comments and explain it to me, that'd be great. 'Cause-
Oh, I thought you were talking about the father of
oh,
Winona
no, I thought
Ryder's
that was
character.
weird too.
Ugh. Yeah, that was kind of gross.
I thought that was weird too. That was
Mhm.
Winona
Mhm.
Ryder's father from the original.
Yeah. Yeah.
And how he is portrayed throughout this movie is also very
Uh,
strange. And another
uh,
weird thing that doesn't really have a great importance to the ultimate storyline. I don't
yeah.
know why they did that either. Maybe he just didn't want to do the movie. So, because it's not the original actor. So, I don't know if he just didn't want to do the movie. So, they came up with this way of how they were going to
Mhm.
bring that character through to this movie without the actual original actor portraying him. I
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah. Well, they sure did.
They sure did. It was a creative way, I guess. And Catherine O'Hara, I mean, honestly,
Mm.
I just love her and everything she does. So,
Now, I did see this one thing about, she continued her art. Her character
yes, she
continued her
did.
art,
Yeah.
and she had that big show.
Yes.
And there was the scene of her wearing that white dress with all the birds
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Schitt's
shadowed
Creek.
on it. Yes,
Schitt's Creek,
yes.
for sure. For
I
sure.
think that's pretty cool.
That was awesome. Yes.
I love the references to Soul Train.
Oh, yes. And what did I do at the end of the movie, Auntie Joan?
You danced.
I danced
We,
in the movie theater. Everybody had
uh-huh,
left, folks.
uh-huh.
It was a matinee. Nobody was there.
Yeah, the other 5 people left.
Yes, that's true. But I did get up and dance to Soul Train because I just dig that music.
And I was a little disappointed they didn't do the Soul Train line, but then I started thinking maybe that's like a copyright infringement or
Might
something if
be,
they do that. Yeah.
but that was very cool. Good music throughout. I will say that.
Yes,
Good music
yes,
throughout the movie.
yes. Uh-huh,
They did
uh-huh.
very well.
And their choice at the end was
Yes.
interesting, but it seemed to really fill the bill.
Agreed. Yes, if you are a Beetlejuice original fan, you will thoroughly enjoy Beetlejuice Beetlejuice, is our assumption. Right, Auntie Joan?
Oh, yes, yes. It's a good time. Good times, good
Good
times.
times.
Welcome back.
Welcome back. Now we're on to the part of our program where we discuss commercials we have to talk about. And as we chatted in our What We Are Watching section, Auntie Joan and I went to the movies and we saw a commercial that we both laughed out loud at. It was for product Mountain Dew and it's called Get Off Your. And it shows, apparently it was a Super Bowl commercial. Again, I didn't see it because I don't watch the Super Bowl. But I don't know what year. There's a longer version that we'll have in the posted with the episode that was a little bit longer than what we saw in the movie theater. However, it has somebody sitting on a donkey and it looks like he's tired and good looking built guy walks in and he's just like, get off your ass, have a Mountain Dew and gives him a Mountain Dew. It's just very silly. But the longer commercial has a couple of those kinds of clips in it. So it was very silly and fun. But yes, both Auntie and Joan and I chuckled out loud at that one. I said, oh, we're going to have to talk about that one.
I think I've seen that guy on some reels on Facebook or
Oh, really?
Instagram things. Yeah.
Ah.
And I tried to find out if that was, in fact, him.
Oh.
And I did a whole bunch of Googles trying to find the burly commercial guy and all this stuff. And they don't even tell you what his name is.
Oh, he's incognito.
Well, it's weird. It's weird. Usually, they'll give him credit or something, but
Right.
I could not find his name, but I'll definitely go and do some more searching. When it started, you see the guy and gal sitting down and it looks like they're sitting on the couch. And then when they come back and you see him sitting on an ass.
A donkey. Burro.
Mule. Yeah, that was cute. That was really cute.
It was a very cute commercial. I liked it.
Good play on words.
I agree. Don't really like Mountain Dew as a product. I've never been a fan of their sodas.
No.
But the commercial is very, very cute.
I think they have a particular clientele, don't you? I mean, do they? I don't know. I don't know anybody that really drinks Mountain Dew.
I knew a couple of people through the years that drank it, and I don't know. I think their demographic is young. These people were more my age. I mean, granted, it was over the years, so we were younger at one point, but
didn't they used to tie them in with like meth or addicts? No.
Not that I'm aware of, and I know the people that drank it around me that were not meth heads. But
I thought, like subcultures would link the two of them together, like they were. Yeah,
I hadn't heard that. I'm not refuting it. I just hadn't heard that. Interesting.
Well, I've been around the block a few more times than you have.
We'll have the link posted for you all to see. It's the longer version again than what we saw in the movie theater, but it was still cute. And like I said, that's a good looking guy. Let's find his name. See what else he's been in, Auntie Joan. Get on the case.
I'm going to find him because I'm sure. Because when I first saw this guy in these reels or Instagrams or whatever, TikToks, I thought it was Jason Momoa.
Oh.
And then, of course, I looked closer and it wasn't him. But so that piqued my interest. Yeah, I need to find out, see if it's the same guy. If not, I'll still send you a couple links to the other guy's videos if I ever find them.
Sounds good. Thanks. All right, Auntie Joan, anything else for our listener today?
Oh, I think I've pretty much, I don't know, said everything I need to say for the day.
Then. Well, good. All right. Well, that wraps it for yet another wonderful episode of Pickled Watermelon Rinds. This is Auntie signing off.
And Antie Joan saying bye-bye now.
We thank you for listening. And remember, when life eats away at your core, make pickled watermelon rinds.